This is the Simulation Football League presented by 8 p.m. Music on YouTube. Two 4-win teams collide here on Sunday of Week 9. The DC Dragons finish off a 4-game road trip here in Seattle as they face a Seattle Nemesis Ball Club looking for retribution after losing to on the road. Who makes their case to break away from the chasing pack in a playoff race? We are about to find out. Good evening, folks. I'm Tyler Falk. Damon Simeon and Declan O'Rourke are in the Stats Truck. SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine is back at SFL headquarters, and I am joined in the booth alongside myself is my partner, Brett Solberg. Brett, DC can find themselves in a much better spot in the playoffs with a win here tonight. Seattle needs to keep pace with everybody in the Pacific.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight matchup. Seattle has to win this essentially to keep a hold of the Pacific Division after San Diego's throttling just last night against the hands of Fort Worth. But this is a Seattle team that loves to pass facing a DC team that likes to defend the pass, where it's a DC team that loves to run against a Seattle team that likes to defend the run. So it's either going to be a hard-nosed battle or it's going to be a shootout. We're going to see how this goes, Tyler.
Two alternating philosophies. DC in their Dragon's Fist ultimatum. Seattle in their City Knights, as here we go from the Nemisphere in Week 9 of the SFL. And it'll start with a touchback deep in their own end zone for the Dragons. And out comes Shabazz Synergy out of the field as he leads the troops to the line for the first time tonight.
Yeah, and talking about that run game for DC, it hasn't all been the Kevin Say show this season. Chuck Steller, the fullback, has done great work as well with his run game. 10th in the league in yards per carry at 4.5.
We'll meet the rest of that offense here shortly. We'll start with a run to the right-hand side. That is Kevin Say gaining 4 yards. And let's meet that Dragon offense, shall we? Kevin Say and Sam Harrison are the tailbacks with Chuck Steller, that fullback, as we were talking about earlier, Brett, at fullback. Wide receivers are Mason Kirby, Josh Gill, Lyric Da Vinci, and Nick Twice. Tight ends are Lauren Percoco and James Walters. And on the line, it's Michael Percoco, Ezekiel Rubin, James Judah, Quinn Zook, and Joseph Ephraim. Run out of the right-hand side, going nowhere. Sam Harrison gobbled up in the backfield by Aaron Gooden.
And here's what Seattle does really good with that run defense is that they bring their outside linebackers out in the form of Sable Kanan and Aaron Gooden. Those two guys can be menaces, as well as Matthias Citriano.
4-man rush from Seattle. Synergy looking over. One-handed snag from the doctor. Lauren Percoco, first down and more.
Yeah, and we haven't talked about that pass game all too much so far, but you talk about leading receivers for DC, you look at none other than the Doctor, and that is just a straight go route, and that's got to be something that Daniel Valentine has to worry about when Percoco is on the slot. She has go routes for days, she has length for days, and she'll get easy catches like that.
Not even a minute in, and that's our Nice Hands catch of the game, brought to you by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it, SFL 4K 23, and Chuck Steller goes nowhere, losing 3 yards on the run.
And again, it's Aaron Gooden coming in from that interior side. You can see with Seattle's with their Seattle formation subs, they like to use their outside linebackers in and their inside linebackers out in every moment that they can. So you have to be careful where those linebackers are.
They're trying to confuse the offense right now. They call it an audible on the defense, bringing down Amar Bryant Jr. on the outside. It's a heavy blitz. Open is the receiver. Lauren Percoco is going to finish off the drive. Cover 0 blitz. Works in DC's favor, and she will just hop her way into the end zone. Touchdown, Dragons.
And Seattle brought the house. They brought the entire state of Washington to DC, and there was just all the composure in the world for Synergy just to sling that rock, and everybody went in, which means one of the receivers was going to get their touchdown in the form, this time to Lauren Percoco. DC, in just a minute and 45 seconds, get themselves their first score.
And not what you want to see if you're the Nemesis faithful fan here. 2 straight losses on the road to Charleston and Minnesota, both by double digits, and drive number 1 for their defense backfires completely, and the Dragons open the scoring with a touchdown to Lauren Percoco. She had all the yards on that first drive of the game.
Now, how often do you say that one person gets all the yards in a drive? You see all these collected efforts from these teams to get everyone involved. But DC just says, hey, we got ourselves 2 receptions from Laura Percoco. She's almost done for the day, but I don't think so.
We're backing it away. How does Seattle respond to the early gut punch? Be taken down for a touchback by Justice Blackwell, returning to the SFL after a season absence. He comes over from Pacific rival Vancouver, and leading the way onto the field is the league's most elusive quarterback, or so it would seem, Ty Patak, the last season's Rookie of the Year.
Very true. It has been elusive, but he also has been sacked 20 times so far this season, so you have to be careful when you're Ty Patak.
The mobile quarterback philosophy is you're going to burn teams and you're going to get burned. And right there, oh my goodness, a juke move to get beyond the 50-yard line. John Fullerton, we might just have a fireworks show all night long.
Man, and Ty Patak strikes first in the form of Fullerton getting past Daryl Bullock, and then a great juke move on John DeSantis. He's a tough guy to get past, and he just says, oh, fake right, go left, hit the sidelines for an extra 5 to 7 yards, and just like that, Seattle flips the field.
34 yards for John Fullerton to the DC 46-yard line. Now they'll go to the ground for the first time. They try and go up the middle with J.W. Doyle, the longtime Storm teammate, comes over here and gets a couple yards to begin the drive. And let's introduce you to that nemesis offense. We've talked about the quarterback, Ty Patak. Halfbacks are Baloo Scott and J.W. Doyle. Fullback is Dean Jackson. Wide receiving core is John Fullerton, Just Scott, Justice Blackwell, Ryan Orlovsky, and Kenny Snyder Jr. Tight ends are Paulie Truth and Ben Harrison. We'll talk about the line here in a second as they create a nice pocket to throw over the middle and find Paulie Truth near the 30-yard line.
Yeah, and I could see this easily becoming a tight end battle between these two teams because both Patak and Synergy love to find their tight end targets. This time for Seattle, they find Paulie Truth crossing route going from left to right and finds his target easy going for the first down.
On the line, it's Sean Sullivan, Will Stevens, Matty Mack, and Kobe Beef all lining up and creating just great pockets for Ty Patak so far early in the ball game. They'll have to try and do some run blocking, however, but J.W. Doyle gets eaten alive in the backfield by Saeed Gore for a loss of 1.
Yeah, and both these run defenses have really come up to play, at least in these first 3 minutes of play. The crew of Scott and Doyle have had a tough time. Say and Stellar have had a tough time so far. So this might be a passing showcase.
And back to pass is Patak. Blitz coming throughout the edge, but Paulie Truth left alone over the middle of the field. He's down to the 15.
Yeah, and what we're seeing a lot this season is an open gap between that second and third level of defense, more so than we did last season. And this is just prime territory for any tight end that gets involved. Especially when it's a zone matchup with Saeed Gore kind of playing that flats area. There's going to be that open space in the middle. Truth finds another 15 yards.
He went for 15 on the first play, goes for around 16 this time around, up to the 14 officially. Just over 6 minutes to go in the first quarter of action. Seattle looking to respond. Gore coming off the edge, but Scott gets the call and goes away from Gore, picking up 4 yards as we introduce you to the Dragons defense. Nick Fargo, Jose Fuentes, John Gary, Mike Wagner, Kano Fortson, and Jay Sanborn are the defensive linemen, with Jason Strongbow, Saeed Gore, Declan O'Rourke, Ben Bowman, that linebacker, Peanut Say, Daryl Bullock, and Jadoobie Doo are the corners, with Josh Vasquez, Kev Say Jr., John DeSantis, and Tyler Highfield all at safety as Patak rolls out on second and medium, looking end zone. Truth can't haul it in. A beautiful hit from DeSantis jars the ball free.
Yeah, a little bit of revenge after getting juked out by John Fullerton earlier. DeSantis just finds himself in the right spot. You had your two safeties covering the end zone along with Declan O'Rourke kind of staying back as well on coverage on Truth. And once he gets beat, DeSantis is in the right spot for the hit.
Well, that'll bring up third down. First third down of the ball game here for Seattle. It's been a solid drive, this being the 8th play of the drive. Can it continue? Or can it find a touchdown at the end of this play? Back to throw, attack, end zone, caught on the run, touchdown, Seattle, Nemesis. It's Ryan Orlovsky with the touchdown.
And that's good work from Orlovsky, cutting inside to beat his defender and get in front of Kev Say Jr. On that route. Just enough time for Patak to throw that rock. And Tyler, we are 4.5 minutes in this game. We got ourselves 2 touchdowns already. We could see a shootout in our hands.
Second touchdown of the season for Orlovsky. That is already the most he's gotten in a single season, only his second season. And he's just doing an excellent job here for the Nemesis this season as the Nemesis drive down the field on 8 plays, 79 yards, total time possession just under 3 minutes. If you're new to the Simulation Football League, welcome. The SFL is football for everyone. Get off the sideline and start your player today by joining our Discord server at simulationfl.net. Click the Join the Community button and begin your career, or just to meet the stars of the SFL on and off the field. It's never too late to get involved. Dueling passing touchdowns, Brett Solberg to begin the game. As we kind of theorizing here early, it might be an air show.
And yeah, both these quarterbacks seem comfortable at the start of this game. It'll be DC's second chance with the football here.
Synergy was 2-2 on the first drive. Both passes to Lauren Percoco, the tight end, who got the touchdown, as the drive will start with a run by Kevin Say. Gains maybe a yard up the middle.
And I do think both these teams still want to establish the run game in some form, but early on in this first quarter, the defenses have been up to the task and with forcing the hands of the quarterbacks to throw the football.
Synergy will look to throw this time again. This time it's picked off. Dougie Day gets it going and is pushed out of bounds inside the 30-yard line as the Nemesis strike back.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that the 25th ranked passing defense finds themselves with their 12th takeaway of the season in the form of Doug Day's second interception. Remember, his only other one earlier this season went for a pick six, and he was ready to go for another one. But nonetheless, Seattle turning the tides after an early touchdown on DC, and they're in field goal range already with this turnover.
Second interception of the season for Doug Day. Unlike his first one, it did not go all the way back to the house. And so the offense comes out to the field for a shorter drive that starts on the DC 26-yard line. Wide receivers and Pauly Truth, the tight end, out in a formation-looking pattern here as the run up the middle for Baloo Scott. She gets blasted backfield by Declan O'Rourke.
Yeah, it was a nice pushing tackle away from Scott as well, because she had the speed to get ready for a first down, but was stifled by a nice pushover from Tyler Highfield to prevent anything from going just 5 yards.
On first down, they spread the formation out. Now they try and pack in everybody in close as Doyle gets the call, and he's met with not the same success. Saeed Gorin in the stop.
Well, they're still going to give him a yard on that, even though I think he was maybe 3 inches off the line of scrimmage. A little bit of favorable positioning. But on third down, it's still a favorable position for Seattle. They've got their 3 receivers set out. I'm highlighting Pauly Truth on that slot side on the right.
High formation, 5-man rush. Truth, yes sir, inside the 15, down near the 13-yard line. A first down for the Nemesis.
Yeah, and why I highlighted Truth on the slot side is that he basically acts like a third wide receiver, because he has the agility and he has the means to cut in directions like he did on that in route just to get the first down.
Some added motivation here as we're in the red zone. Attack, end zone. Truth can't haul it in. John DeSantis, another crushing hit on Truth in the end zone.
And that's big, because Truth has been hot through this first quarter, and if he continues going that way, it feels like he's going to be unstoppable. So another tackling hit to push that ball away from his hands and force another play to be called on Seattle's side.
Three wide, attack in a roll, left side, looking middle. There's Truth. He's in a whole swarm of Dragons at the 5-yard line. He will gain 8 in total, setting up a more manageable 3rd and short.
Yeah, very interesting that they're going to Pauly Truth early on. He does beat the team in receptions coming into this game by 11 compared to John Fullerton and Gus Scott, who have 23. And right now, they're just trying to find Pauly Truth as much as they can in the first quarter.
Two tight end look on the left side, handoff middle, Scott pushing through, and she will get it! Touchdown, Seattle!
Man, 21 early points, not even 7 minutes into the game. We got ourselves a fun one in our hands, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be capped off by just sheer will and determination from Baloo Scott to get herself across the line. And wow.
And so the Nemesis will line up for the extra point. Snap spot. And Victor Ironleg's extra point is up and good, and the Nemesis retake a 7-point lead.
Huge momentum swing for Seattle after going down early, getting 2 straight scores to get themselves back in the lead at home. It's a very promising thing if you are a Nemesis fan.
This will be the first kick return of the ball game. Mason Kirby fumbles the football, and it's picked up by Mason Kirby down the right side.
Boy.
Oh my goodness! He's gonna try and hit the corner, and he spins out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Wow! What a crazy turn of events!
I'll bet you didn't have that on your bingo board, ladies and gentlemen. A return that gets fumbled, recovered by another special teams player, but still goes down the field and hits opposing territory. Mason Kirby finding his way in the right time after the fumble and gets himself down the field to the 42-yard line, giving DC prime field position to get back in this game and tie it up.
It was originally Sam Harrison who coughed up the football, but Mason Kirby was Johnny on the spot. And now DC will set up in plus territory for the first time this evening. Pitch play near side. Here comes Kevin Say, who breaks out of a tackle. He tries to break out of a second, but can't do it. Tackled at the 30-yard line.
Man, and that's just a great work from the offensive line to give Say the opportunity to stretch himself out to the outside, outpace Doug Day on the left as well, get past one tackler and get just enough for the first down. New set of chains right away.
Back to the line they come. After the first play on the drive, went for about 12. 7, 8 men in the box. They try and guess the pitch play. They guess the right area, and all of a sudden, Doug Day comes out and pile drives Sam Harrison.
Yeah, and this time Seattle guessed right, and Doug Day, good man on the task after being beat by Say, says, Sam Harrison, you ain't getting past me, stops him behind the line.
33 on 33 crime there on first down. What happens here on 2nd and 9? 5 wide for Synergy as he's going to go back to throw. Looking, middle, caught Lauren Percoco inside the 10. 1st and goal, DC.
We are truly seeing a tight end battle between Pauly Truth and Lauren Percoco. And Percoco isn't doing anything different than she's been doing all season. She's just been getting open by just the go route. And that is what's worked for DC, and it'll continue to work that way. Another reception goes Percoco's way, and I believe all of the passing yards have still gone Percoco's way in this game.
Couple of, for DC at least, 100, over 100 confirmed for Percoco as Synergy looking near side and overshoots Lyric Da Vinci.
That was a wide open Da Vinci as well. Maybe a little bit of nerves hitting Synergy after connecting with Percoco all these times so far. Just the 3 receptions going Percoco's way, but it's been extremely successful for DC so far, but they can run it back here for 2nd and goal.
And the only other member of DC that has even been targeted has been Da Vinci, been targeted twice now, unable to haul either one in. 2nd and goal, I formation from the 7-yard line. Synergy will pass.
Oh.
Blitz coming! Smacked, sandwiched, and taken down in the backfield by Aaron Gooden and company.
And you had to think with Seattle's linebacker setup, with Aaron Gooden being on that left, and then Sabo Kanan stretching out so far to the right, there had to be someone they had to cover to prevent the sack. But both of them went, and it led to Gooden's way.
Gooden, Kanan, and Parrott all combining in on the sack. It is now 3rd and goal from the 12-yard line. Only a 3-man rush. Synergy with time, looking, end zone, and looking for Da Vinci for the 3rd time in the game, and cannot haul it in. It is 4th and goal. DC will send out the field goal unit.
And again, it's another overthrow. You could see that Da Vinci was in the right place, was ahead of TJ Frosty. Maybe they were looking for a toe tapper, but you can see wide to the left. Da Vinci not near enough to get that catch.
Don't tell Buffalo fans wide left. I'm certain they'll probably try and come back out of spread. 4th and goal now as it's Seattle and DC here, as DC look to try and chop a little bit into this lead that Seattle have amassed for themselves. Snap spot. And the kick from Potty is up and good. It is now a 14-10 ball game. 24 points scored in this first quarter, Brett, by both teams. It has gotten off to a rocking and roaring start here on Sunday.
There's some teams this week have been able to score 24 points in a game, let alone go in a quarter. So these two teams are ready offensively. They are bringing the fireworks to Seattle.
And the kickoff is on its way. Here as we'll get a return from Justice Blackwell to the left-hand side. As Blackwell breaks out of a tackle, it is finally dragged out from behind. Oh, partner, we're in for a special teams, not necessarily horror show, but a special teams, not even masterclass, just a lot of special teams tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun from either side. We'll have to see which special teams will finally break away and get themselves a touchdown. But Justice Blackwell had a good couple of shedding tackles to get good field position for Seattle. They're going to start at their own 36, but most teams will take that instead of, starting at their own 20.
What I can guarantee is, especially in this first quarter, we've already had a fumbled kick returned by the return team to one side of the field. We just nearly had a breakaway for a kickoff return touchdown, potentially. And now Pauly Truth hauls in the first play of the drive for about 5 yards.
If anyone had Pauly Truth in their fantasy team this week, if there is a fantasy team lying around for the SFL, you got to be loving this right now. 5th reception in the first quarter for Pauly Truth. That's just going to get you even more points.
Both tight ends, Truth and Percoco. Solid day, solid numbers for both. 5-man rush as Patak flips it out near side. That gains a couple more from Dean Jackson. 22 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And if DC wants to get themselves, a gut shot to Seattle, you stop them here on this 3rd down. We haven't seen a lot of 3rd downs in this game so far, but Seattle's already 3 for 3. If you can get their first stop, it's going to prove to be very fatal going into the second quarter.
No blitz coming. No one picked up Mike Wagner, and he brings the wagons behind him to bring down Patak.
And just hear the Nemisphere right now. They went completely silent on the play, as you said it justly. Nobody at all gets to Mike Wagner and gets the sack.
A fiery start to this one. 14-10. Seattle with the lead, and they'll get a chance to return a punt when we come back to the Nemisphere. This is the Simulation Football League on YouTube. And we welcome you back to the Pacific Northwest, specifically Seattle, Washington. Tyler Falk and Brett Solberg here on the call. We are glad we could have your company here this evening. Special thanks to Damon Simeon and Declan O'Rourke back at the stats truck doing a fantastic job giving us all the live stats for us this evening as the second quarter is underway. Fair catch called for and hauled in cleanly by Mason Kirby on the 16-yard line, and that is where DC will take over for their first drive of the second quarter.
And now DC has to think to themselves, let's get some points here. Even if it's a field goal, you can get that game within 1. And now you're starting pretty deep. You got 85 yards to the end zone. Just keep this slow and steady. Bring it back to DC Dragons football.
8 men in the box here for Seattle as they try and contain this I formation. It'll be a fullback dive by Chuck Steller, who goes little to nowhere, maybe a yard on the game.
It's been an explosive first quarter for both these teams right now. All over 100 yards so far, mainly through the pass game right now. Very surprising to see it from Seattle's end, considering that DC coming into this game, 3rd best passing defense, allowing under 175 yards per game.
To try and run left side, and the defense was on top of it from the get-go. Sabo Cannon comes in behind to bring down the tailback at the line of scrimmage.
And this is what Seattle brings to the table, the number 6 rushing defense in the league, allowing teams to less than 90 yards a game. That's huge.
4-man rush synergy, needs a first down and finds Percoco. 4th reception, moves the chains to near the 45.
How about another 30 yards for Lauren Percoco as she continues to just blast her way through the defense. It feels like it's either just outmanned in terms of height, or she just beats them fully. Again, Daniel Valentine getting burned by Lauren Percoco. Give her another 30 on that.
All the way down to the 44 officially. The most productive wide receiver in the game for both clubs tonight as Kevin Say gets a pitch, and like we've seen so many tonight, goes for little to no gain.
Yeah, and this run game has kind of been stifled. Kev Say has had a few chances to get himself going, but only 18 yards on 5 carries so far. Maybe give him a little bit more love. He can adjust to what Seattle brings to the table.
He does have a long of 12 earlier in the ball game as the run up the middle. Nothing doing. Seattle's there again. It's Citrion, the middle linebacker.
Yeah, and Seattle's just forcing DC's hand just to throw that football. But what DC's done very well in this game is just find their target. One target so far has been able to catch that football. So I'm thinking just cover Percoco.
And she lines up on the far side of the field all alone, runs an arrow route across the middle. They're looking for her, and there is Percoco. When in doubt, just find the doctor, and the doctor resolves the 3rd down.
Hey, I will give Seattle this. I think this was Percoco's shortest reception so far at 14 yards, but nonetheless, she just finds herself open again. Doug Day was supposed to be on coverage, gets beat again, and forces TJ Frosty to get out of position to try to tackle her, but not before the 1st down.
The old saying goes, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I think you need to keep apples outside the DC locker room because the doctor is here to stay. Pass middle. It's bobbled by Kevin Say, and it will fall incomplete.
Yeah, an interesting way to get Kevin Say involved is to go through the pass game, not by a swing pass or anything, but they're going to give him a running back option route, and he decides to go on a go route, past the line, get to the 2nd level, but just bobbles it.
That'll be a fullback dive, a much better fullback dive than the one earlier in the drive. Chuck Steller gains 4. Setting up 3rd and 6.
Yeah, another 3rd down for DC. Now we're starting to see a lot of 3rd downs getting involved here. DC's done well in this 2nd quarter to get their conversions. And again, if I'm Seattle, I'm focusing on Lauren Percoco.
Still game tight end record is 182. Percoco just under 40 yards from hitting it. It's another catch for Lauren Percoco.
And that one is big. I'd give that another 16 yards, and you can see it. Look how close she is from James Matthew Jr., who had a hell of a game with Queen City to get that 182. She gets 15 yards closer. We're not even at the end of the 1st half, Tyler, and she's tearing the Seattle pass defense.
Some more yards. 165 now for Lauren Percoco. That's getting close to James Matthew Jr. in just the 1st half. The only receiver in DC with a catch, and they go with a draw, and Stellar goes nowhere. A great tackle again. This time up the middle, looks like Doug Day with a tackle.
Yeah, and it's not just the linebackers get involved in that run defense. It is the safeties, and mostly it is in the form of Doug Day because he has a little bit better speed than the rest of his safety counterparts, and he can get to that line quicker than most.
And here's the run from Say, who gains a yard back, maybe. Jadooby-doo Valentine gets the tackle. And he'll bring up another third down, and when in doubt, it's been their motto so far tonight, partner. Find Lauren Prococo.
When in doubt, find the doctor. Let's see where she is in this lineup. She's going to be on the inside of that trio's bunch.
12th play, the last third. The 3 downs have gone to Prococo, and finally they find Josh Gill, and DC takes the lead. Touchdown, Dragons!
And good misdirection from that bunch setup as well. You have to give credit because the far guy decided to go, the inside man who was not Prococo, that was James Walters, comes in on an out route, and that leads Gill to get a little bit open on that corner to get a one-on-one battle that he wins. Most of the time, gets the touchdown. DC has retaken the lead.
Well, taking the lead for the first time this evening, I should say. Here's the extra point to make it a field goal lead. It is up and splits the uprights, and good. 12 plays, 84 yards, little over 4 minutes taken off the clock, all in this second quarter alone. If you aren't liking the game so far, you probably haven't hit the like button, so why don't you smash that like button, because you better be liking this game. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There is no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFLM action and help the channel grow through your support. So here comes the nemesis. Offense once again, down by 3 now. Over 5.5 to go here in this first half of play. They will start with an offset eye and 2 wide receivers. They'll try a run up the middle. Blue Scott, she gains about 3.
Yeah, and right now, again, I talk about both these teams trying to establish some type of run game so it doesn't turn into a complete one-dimensional matchup, because once those second half adjustments come in, they're going to be more shaken down defensively to defend the pass.
Split backfield for now, but now Seattle sends Dean Jackson into a tight end role near side, and they will run behind J.W. Doyle, who got a lot more yards because of the extra blocker out there. Brings up 3rd and short.
And again, getting that run game going, and that's going to help when you have an extra blocker on a stretch run, moving D. Jackson to that tight end role to help support. Good work from the offensive line.
Roll out of attack, just going to run and slide, and first down. That's what he does, especially in 3rd and short situations.
Yeah, and he just said to himself, you know what? I might go with the rollout, but I don't see anything after 1/2 second. I'm going to get myself the first down.
It's that quick thinking ability you have to have as a mobile quarterback to keep your team in the game. Holy Truth now flexed out to the outside. They try to run up the middle. Wide open hole for Malou Scott, and she will pick up about 13 yards and a first down.
Yeah, good misdirection by shifting Pauly Truth to the outside, giving a little bit extra space on that middle of the field, and it's a good gap given by the offensive line to give Baloo Scott the space she needed to get the first down.
So after a very quick moving first quarter with scoring aplenty, things have kind of settled down. Only a touchdown here in this second quarter. DC found Josh Gill after finding Lauren Prococo 6 times, and now Patak looking to throw. Hit as he throws, finds Pauly Truth, gains about 8.5.
Yeah, they're just going to keep looking for Pauly because he's staying open throughout this first half. Both these tight ends have been having a masterclass so far, and it's led to killer accuracies for both these quarterbacks. Ty Patak 8 of 10, Shabazz Energy 7 of 11.
Last 10 passes for Patak. Good solid 8 of 10 with the touchdown on the previous drive. Currently 3 of 3 in the last 3 plays, but Baloo Scott goes nowhere. They'll give her forward progress back to the line of scrimmage. I would not be surprised if they credit Gore with a TFL.
Yeah, and I would give credit to Gore on that TFL because he came in like a running freight train looking to get to his target, and Baloo Scott was just that to basically force Seattle into a third down.
Now Baloo Scott will line up as she will dot the I. As Dean Jackson, the fullback, motions out as Patak will again try and take off and run, but this time DC are going to have none of it. Jason Strongbow takes him down, and the drive stalls.
Yeah, and this seems like a draw play designed for Ty Patak to fake roll out and cut to the inside. And now DC's figured it out after the second time. They get him behind the line again for a sack.
David Roysh will punt this one away. It's angled toward the pylon, but it takes a DC bounce inside the end zone. Say they're down for a touchback, and so the DC Dragon drive will start on their own 20-yard line.
Yeah, and I feel like Seattle was looking for that lucky bounce to maybe cut it inside, but it came one bounce too late as it goes in the end zone. DC breathes a sigh of relief as they forced Seattle to punt the football, and now it's their turn to try to extend this lead before the half.
Synergy will start the drive with a pass left side, finding Chuck Stellar, the fullback, and he turns upfield for a first down.
Yeah, good work from Stellar to just shoulder himself down and just focus on getting that first down and move the chains even on first. But great work again from DC's play calling to kind of just misdirect things. Wide open space for Stellar on that outside.
And that will take us to the 2-minute warning here in the first half. We got a good one brewing here in the Nemisphere. It is 17-14, DC with the lead. You're watching the SFL on YouTube. Just a look at Synergy's numbers tonight. A very solid evening for the DC quarterback. 8 of 12, most of his yards, 165 of those passing yards, all going to Lauren Percoco. And here comes Kevin Say, getting bounced around by defenders and gets 8 yards for his troubles.
Yeah, and we have to remember Kevin Say has been an explosive player all through his career, but he has the deceptive strength to push through if he needs to, break tackles, get extra yards when he needs to. That's a big 8 yards for Kevin Say.
Second and short. They're going to pile on 3 tight ends in this offset eye look, and it pays off for the Dragons as they run up the middle. But with Sam Harrison, his best run of the evening, and it's another first down.
Yeah, and right now, again, DC trying to focus on that run game, starting to break that impenetrable wall that felt like Seattle's run defense in the first half, and starting to get that two-dimensional play that they've wanted to have throughout this game.
Trying to take as much clock off so that Seattle doesn't have too much time if they were to give the ball away. So Say goes backward, and taken down by Aaron Gooden behind the line.
Yeah, and we do have to remember Seattle gets the football in the third quarter, so they do not want to give Seattle a 2-for-1 situation to get themselves in back the lead, and a sizable one at that.
Another run, Say. He's met up in the backfield, but he does well to keep those legs churning to near midfield, and they will call one of their timeouts as they're near the 50-yard line, and now maybe want to change things up. That wasn't the right formation partner to be in if they wanted to go hurry up, and so the timeout was needed.
Yeah, exactly so, and I don't mind them taking that first timeout because they still have 2 left to go. They're at midfield. They can change things up. Now going 5 wide. Again, look for Percoco. She's an inside slot.
A much better formation to be in now here for the Dragon offense as they stand at their own 49-yard line. 6 DBs on the field for Seattle. Pass left side is incomplete. Looking for Mason Kirby on third down. Couldn't haul it in. And the DC Dragons drive comes to a halt.
Yeah, and that pass felt like it was just one thrown to Kirby just to keep shedding clock as they got closer. It wasn't a game changer or anything like that, or a money play to get them to the end zone. They just wanted to get the first down, and I think that was the flaw in that play, instead of maybe looking for one of their deeper targets.
And so it will be a punt from Ron Van Cleef, the undrafted rookie, as on the return is John Fullerton, who gets up to the 18-yard line. That is where Seattle will take over. Decision time now for the Nemesis. You get the ball to start the second half, partner, but you got the football now with seconds to go and all 3 timeouts here in the first half.
Simple to me. You go Pauly Truth, go deep. Get yourself at least enough yardage to get yourself into field goal range, tie the game up at halftime so that you can focus on 0-0 coming into the third quarter.
Attack sends a man in motion here on first down. An I formation set behind him as he will look to pass. Unloads over the middle, looking for Fullerton, can't haul it in. The hit laid on him was just too much. It's Darrell Bullock.
And I do think DC is also thinking the mentality that Seattle's going to want to throw a little bit deeper down the field, get them to shed as little clock as possible while moving down the field the most that they can with these last 31 seconds. So right now, corners are on full coverage on the receivers.
Four-man rush, Patak rolls and fires, and there's a one-handed snag from Pauly Truth. But they will elect to allow the clock to run. It seems, even though they got the first down, partner, there's no hurry up yet.
They might just be thinking to themselves, there's not enough time to at least get down the field with the play sets that they have. I don't mind that thought. At least get themselves some positive yardage heading into halftime is also a good thing.
Under 10 to go. Still all 3 timeouts. And they will hand off the football. Baloo Scott, she gets to the right side. But like we've seen so often tonight, partner, the run games have been pretty bottled up. And it's been the air show here in the Nemisphere, which has taken hold of this football game. 17-14, the DC Dragons looking to make back-to-back road wins here as they look to try and finish off Seattle here in the second half.
Yeah, passing showcase is right, Tyler. Over 300 yards of total passing between these two quarterbacks. 195 for Shabazz Synergy to get his team back on top in this second quarter, whereas Ty Patak has kind of quieted things down, but he has stayed clean and got his own 2 touchdowns in the air as well to make this a high-scoring first half. But the big thing for DC is that it feels like they're the ones that have slowly started to get their run game going a little bit more than Seattle. The numbers may not say so. It's 38-37 in favor of DC's rush game, but right now there is a slight advantage, and you can see it on the scoreboard to DC's side.
Lauren Prococo, clearly the player of the half with 165 receiving yards already. But what I didn't like, partner, from DC is they went away from her at the tail end of that half. Do they get her back involved? As that was one of the main points in how DC was able to get a hold of this lead. Will they be able to keep it? As we welcome you back to the Nemisphere here in Seattle, Washington. I'm Tyler Falk, joined by Brett Solberg here in the booth. Come on, Simeon and Declan O'Rourke are back in the stats truck, and we might get a game break here in the second half from the game going over in Oklahoma between Indy and Tulsa. The SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine will give that to us as one becomes available. As John Fullerton goes up the middle, game gets all the way to the 24-yard line, and we do get a little snippet of the game. It's 0-0 halfway through the second quarter, partner.
Yeah, and I think both these teams have really shut down what they're trying to do. Tulsa loves to go with the Gabriel Manning show, whereas Indy likes to kind of spread things around and get things involved. So that's what led to the zeros on the board here halfway through the second.
Seattle will start the half throwing the ball. There's a nice catch. Gus Scott snags it to begin the drive. Haven't called his name all night, and he comes up big to begin half number 2.
And again, it's about Ty Patak staying clean with his passing targets. There hasn't been any that have been really deflected all that much, if I'm not mistaken. It's all been jarred loose from hits from DC players. So Patak has found his targets really well, and you just see a great example there, 19 yards to Gus Scott.
Here's a handoff for J.W. Doyle, and Doyle is taken down from behind by Declan O'Rourke, pulling double duty tonight. No gain for Seattle.
Yeah, and again, both these teams, I feel like a broken record. You want to establish that run game, get your running backs involved as much as you can, and make that, play a little bit more open. But it's been shut down by both sides really well.
It's really been tough sledding as Patak rolls and has to bolt out of the pocket, and he lowers his shoulder on the logo to try and get extra yards. That's a quarterback willing to take a hit.
Yeah, and I don't mind that tenacity from Ty Patak either. Most of them would just try to slide to grab an extra few yards, but Patak does it through his strength. He wants to push his way forward instead.
He truly exemplifies this organization. You just look around this beautiful Nemasphere, and you look at the hoarding on the outside. Almost looks like a snake pit as the bobbled pass. It was tipped near the line of scrimmage, intended for Truth. Incomplete. Great defense from Peanut Say.
Yeah, and it had two defenders in front of Truth as well, and Patak trying to be slick, trying to arc things over. He just didn't put enough air under that, which led to Peanut Say just easily swatting the ball away. No chance for Truth to get that pass. And it's a quick fourth down for Seattle to punt the football away.
David Royce back out to punt this one away. Angles it toward the left-hand side. See if he gets a favorable bounce. Says it'll be allowed to drop. A beautiful stab into the ground, and it's down near the 2-yard line. Beautiful punt from Royce.
Yeah, it's a great punt to have that in your arsenal. We just tried to see it a little bit earlier, but it just unluckily hit the end zone. I believe that was halfway through the second quarter. This time it lands on the 3. DC's got a tough job on their hands.
They're going to have to go 97 yards to get a touchdown on the board. They start off with an offset eye behind Synergy. Assay hit in the backfield at the 1, pushed forward. Shin Yuanda with the tackle, but there is a flag. It is going to be a face mask on Yuanda, and that will give DC some breathing room.
Yeah, and it's incidental, so it'll only be 5 yards, but they'll take the 5 yards because that's a little bit more breathing room for this DC company to try to get out of their own end zone. They still feel it, but it's not as bad as it was on that earlier play.
Darko Young, as they now go 1st and 6 after the incidental. Right around the 7.5-yard line. James Walters, the second-string tight end, flexes out to the right-hand side.
Oh.
Say sent backward by Dougie Day.
Man, you can tell these formation subs that Seattle loves to do, they change it up. Doug Day, a natural strong safety, has been playing inside linebacker throughout a good chunk of this game.
Another heavy look out of the DC offense. 9 men in the box, including Day. They try and stretch it near side with Say, and Say trying to push Day through it, and he can't do it as Day gets a little help from his friend, TJ Frosty.
Yeah, and it's another 3rd down situation for DC. They've done decent work throughout this game, 5 of 7 on these conversions, which highlights a 4 for 5 in the second quarter. They need to replicate that if they want to give Seattle a not-so-good field position at this stage.
The question is, Lauren Percoco, where is she? As now on the field, Mason Kirby lines up as the tight end. As Synergy back to pass, gets hit once, gets out, throws it to Doug Day. Second interception of the game. It's a pick 6 for Doug Day, his second of the season, and Seattle retake the lead just like that.
And you have to think, after shedding that sack, did Shabazz Synergy throw that ball too quickly afterwards? Because Dougie Day in the right spot for a Josh Gill essentially in curl. And it just went right into the hands of Doug Day. Was that too quick of a pass thrown from Shabazz Synergy? Should he have waited a little bit longer to get his little bit more open options? Kirby was the guy to go on the go route from the tight end spot, but instead, Seattle gets 6 on the board.
The dreaded one strikes again, and it's now 20-17. Snap spot, extra point is up, making it 21 to 17 as Doug Day is having himself a day. 5 tackles, an assisted tackle, 2 interceptions, including that last pick 6. Doug Day making a strong case this evening.
I'm still trying to figure out why they call Doug Day the dreaded one, because we know on his head it's not dreads, it's freaking Twinkies on his head.
Now there we go, as here comes the return from Sam Harrison, who fumbled earlier on a return. This time he keeps both hands on the football, and DC will get up to the 27-yard line. The 2024 SFL convention is headed to South Shore Harbor Resort in League City, Texas, just south of Houston, July 12th through the 24th. Excuse me, the 14th. That'd be a long convention. I would love a long convention.
That'd be fun.
Very much so. Featuring live games, flag football, a golf tournament, tailgate, pool party, and more. For all the convention details, visit simulationfl.net/news/convention to reserve your room, see the event schedule, and more. Tip pass from Doug Day looking for a 3rd interception.
Man, and it feels like Lyric Da Vinci has been unlucky throughout this game. That's his 4th target going his way, and it doesn't get even close to his hands. It's either wayward to the left, or it's just tipped away from another defender. He just hasn't had his hands on the football.
8 men in the box here for Seattle's defense. DC have had a hard time working through the middle on the ground as Synergy looking right side. That one is caught on the run. Mason Kirby beyond the 50-yard line, down to near the 47.
Yeah, that was a laser beam thrown from Synergy as well. He said to himself, I need to get it to my guy on a one-on-one battle with Valentine. And just that slight cut outside from Valentine is his doing as Kirby gets the catch.
Quarterback 1 versus wide receiver 1. We've been watching that matchup a little bit, and Kirby with his first catch of the game just shows how much he's been locked down by Valentine and the rest of this Seattle secondary. Percoco back in the game after sitting out for so long. Will she be able to break the SFL 2K record? Handoff. Instead, wandering around in the backfield is Sam Harrison. Almost needed a map back there because he was turned around by the defense.
Not great field awareness from Sam Harrison as he's just trying to run his way around to try to find somewhere open, and it doesn't work for him. That's a loss of 3, my friend.
Draco Young with the tackle behind the line. Keeps his hands where they should be, is not penalized this time as Percoco catches, fighting forward, and it's a gain of 15 again for Lauren Percoco.
That'll bring her to 180 yards, now just 5 yards away. Give that lady more catches.
Just a crisp arrow route across the middle, and then she just keeps those legs moving to try and get extra yards. And she's right there, officially tied at 182 with James Matthew Jr. Where comes the next yard for Percoco? She takes a quick little breather on the sideline here on 1st down, though.
James Walters on that shift heading to the slot.
Fullback dive. Chuck Steller for 5.
And they'll take 5 yards again, wanting to establish the run game, get those guys involved a little bit more. Steller's been a little bit tough going through this first half and half a quarter. Only 7 yards on 5 carries compared to Kevin Say, who's got 31 on 11.
We've seen plenty of running out of DC in these heavy sets. They will go to the run again up the middle. Kevin Say gets out of 1, but lands right in the awaiting arms of that second line of defense for Seattle, bringing up 3rd down.
It's a manageable 3rd and 2 for DC. They can go any route at this point. And yeah, I'd be focusing on where Aaron Gooden is in that lineup. He is basically right at the line. Watch him to pursue, as well as Sabo Kanan on the other side, 55.
They're going to try and run, and they try to run in the teeth of that defense. Sabo Kanan, Johnny on the spot, brings down the tailback. 4th down and 2, and we're in a field goal range here for DC.
And this field goal will make it a 1-point game. An ever tightly contest. Can Pate bring the party to Seattle?
From 44 out, from the left hash, it is up and good. And now the lead is just a point for Seattle, 21-20.
And now it's going to be Seattle's turn to respond in kind in some way. Your defense has brought things to your lead at this stage. Offensively, you've got to stop getting stifled in key moments. We've seen a couple of key stops, which has resulted in being one of their last 3 in third down conversions.
We are underway once again, just over 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter as the return will be taken out of the end zone by Justice Blackwell. Shakes and makes a man at the 24 and keeps 2 defenders on top of him as he drags them all the way to the 29-yard line. Out comes the Seattle offense, and it's been the passing attack which has helped them, but they've also done a pretty good job in the first half of converting on third downs. They've only had 1 so far in this second half here, partner, but they were unable to convert on it. Led to that short opening second half drive.
Yeah, only had 5 plays on that first drive in the third quarter. They definitely want to get things shucking and driving on this drive if they want to get themselves, back to a lead that they want to be at.
Tack trying to change things up on the line. It's a 4-3 look at a DC as Seattle bring out 3 wide receivers. Blue Scott, she'll break off 1. Cannot break off the John DeSantis tackle, though.
And the big thing for Seattle, I think they do want to just drag this drive out as much as they can. If they can use the rest of the third quarter clock and even get 3 points out of this, I think they would call that a success.
Split backfield now here for Patak. 1 lone wide receiver for him on the outside as he will look to roll near side. Looking for Truth. It hits his shoulder pad and falls incomplete. That play has been working out, and it would have worked out had Patak's throw been maybe just a little bit more on target.
Yeah, it was just a little bit too far high, but it was in the right vicinity of Truth, and I don't mind that play. Like you said, it has been working before. That out route to Pauly, he's believed caught 2 of those in this game, which has resulted in key yards.
That'll bring up 3rd and 7. 0 of 1 in this second half of action. Patak rolling, trying to get out of it. Still running, and as slides well short of the line to gain. And that'll bring up 4th down. He had a long way to go, but the defense stayed home.
And again, full credit to Ty Patak, turning something out of nothing. I know that didn't get that first down, but he basically avoided 2 defenders to get past the line of scrimmage and finally brought down with positive yardage.
Here comes the punt from Royce, who had a beautiful coffin corner punt earlier in the half, but here comes Mason Kirby breaking out of a couple tackles, trying to snake his way through Seattle's return team, and he gets it all the way up to the 33-yard line.
Yeah, and Kirby's a tough nugget. He's one of those guys that you can definitely turn a punt return into a touchdown at any moment, so you got to wrap him up as quickly as you can. And even getting 10 yards on a punt return is considered a great success, especially with these special teams units getting so quickly to the returner.
With a field goal on the last drive, DC is looking to try and reclaim the lead, which has gone back and forth now a couple of times here in the ball game. Outside blitz coming. No, they stand off looking for Say to make a move, and he's tackled again at the line of scrimmage. Aaron Gooden's there. We've been focusing on this linebacking core to include Doug Day all game long, and they have really stymied the rushing game for DC.
Yeah, and both teams have done really well against this run game, and that's the key word, stymied. It's been a tough going, especially in this third quarter for Kevsey and company.
4-man rush, synergy, middle, caught for Coco! There's the 2K record as she crosses midfield.
Look, I thought getting 154 yards last week was pretty impressive. And then DC just decides, you know what? Let's get 8 throws to Lauren Prococo's way and get herself 200 yards easy going, no problem. Just like that, Lauren Prococo was a whole different animal. 205
yards, Lauren Prococo. as it'll be a delayed handoff for Kevin Say, gaining 7 yards, and it's a beautiful night here in the Pacific Northwest from a team from the East Coast. A single game SFL 4K23 record by a tight end for Lauren Percoco.
It just shows the dominance of these tight ends in this game. Percoco has been a whole different animal, but Pauly Truth on the other side has been finding his targets as well. Not long ones, but they've been effective for Seattle.
2nd and 3 now. They go back to the run again. Sam Harrison tries to get away from his opposite number. Gets away initially. Gains 2.
And as we inch closer to what Lauren Percoco is capable of, you have to think of just this season, Gabriel Manning with the top 2. And really, Manning is now only 31 yards ahead of Lauren Percoco, so just a couple more catches her way, and she could be number 1 this season in top in terms of games.
Say hit in the backfield as he got the football, and Doug Day finishes him off. It's a loss on the play, and that will bring up a punting situation.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, Doug Day lining up on the inside linebacker spot. It hasn't been Matthias Citrion on that inside, or Sean Parent playing in on the outside as well. They get their safeties involved in the inside interior position.
Punt is away. Fair catch called for at the 17-yard line. Hauled in without any trouble by John Fullerton with 33 seconds to go here in the third quarter. This game is getting closer and closer to nail-biting territory, to just what a great game this has been. These two teams have only met one other time, and this is back when Seattle was just starting their inaugural season. They're playing in week 2 versus this DC team right here in the Nemisphere. They lost that game by 13, but this game a much better opportunity. Oh, Josh Vasquez nearly came away with a timely interception.
Yeah, going back to nail biting, I'm pretty sure both head coaches, Ty Patak and Stephen Mullinax, have already lost their nails because they bit through them too much already in this game. It has been back and forth, nail biting between these two. It's been amazing work on both sides, both offensively and defensively.
I formation now for Seattle. After the incomplete pass on first down. Nickel look out of DC as Patak looks to throw again. Dump off near side. Baloo Scott can't get out of the tackle. These two teams are two of the most sure tackling squads in the SFL, and it's on full display here tonight.
Yeah, and it doesn't say it on the stats department. I mean, coming in, DC is 24th in total tackles with 258, but they are bringing the Thunder over to Seattle's side now. Their 24th tackle of the game.
Heavy blitz. There is Gus Scott in the nick of time to move the chains for Seattle. Hit the quarter break.
And it's exactly so, because that would have been 7 straight plays where they haven't gotten a first down, but now they get Gus Scott involved to get the key first down and the quarter.
Just a point, a single point separates these two clubs. Who comes out the victor? Come back and find out in the fourth quarter. You're watching the SFL on YouTube. Over to the Albino.
The Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Back at Chris Curtis, Tyler Falk, and Brett Solberg back in the booth here in the Nemisphere. We welcome you back. It's been a great game as we're in the final frame of regulation. Declan O'Rourke and Damon Simeon joining us in the stats truck. Cameron Irvine back at SFL headquarters updating us on the game going on in Tulsa. It's 3-0 Tulsa, just beginning the third quarter over in that one, and that patch just overthrown, looking for Pauly Truth.
Tyler, I got a simple question for you. Do you think DC and Seattle have stolen all the points from Indy and Tulsa, and that's what's resulted in that 3-0 game so far?
Oh, absolutely. They've said, here in Seattle, they've said, no points for you, Indy and Tulsa, and they've just given them all to us here in the Nemisphere. 21-10 our score. That'll get the Seattle fans happy, at least as they're up by 1. 5-man rush here from DC. Flip out right side. Baloo Scott, nothing doing. 21-on-21 crime as Vasquez brings her down.
Yeah, and again, I hate to break away from this game here, but again, going along the lines of stealing points, they're also stealing offenses. Indianapolis just at 108 yards, Tulsa at just 96 total yards.
And what do we've got here? Over 500 combined yards. As Patak looks to tag on some more right side. Oh, turning and twisting was Fullerton. He couldn't find the ball. Drops incomplete. And Seattle will have to punt.
Man, you can tell this DC defense has kind of turned up the switch in their pass defense to a couple more decibels to stop those easy plays from happening. It has been a little bit more successful on streak routes, but anything with a turn involved, a change of direction, the corners have been there.
And here is the punt from Reusch. Very good punt and nearly illegal touching there on the back end as Kirby brings it in. And we want to remind you that 8 p.m. Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. 8 p.m. Music is the official soundtrack of this Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit 8pmmusic.com. As the offense have kind of slowed down here in the second half, had most of our scoring in yards in the first half as Say gets the drive going for DC with a 4-yard run.
And Jack's Data had this game at 45.5 on the over-under, and when you saw that score in the first half, you're thinking they're going to shatter this one, but both defenses have really stepped up. Great adjustments from both defensive coordinators.
Blitz coming, pass Percoco. There she is, breaking up tackles beyond the 15-yard line and down to around the 46 of Seattle. She has been a thorn in Seattle's side all night tonight.
It is just not fair sometimes when you see a wide open tight end and she breaks through 2 tacklers to get herself another 10 yards after the catch, moving the chains even more forward for DC. She has been the source of the passing game for DC, and what a blessing it's been.
She is now the third most receiver with the third most yards in a single game. She's only behind Gabriel Manning in both stats as we quickly head over to Tulsa with a game break from Cameron Irvine.
Thank you, Tyler. We have points in Tulsa. This is Colin Pierce to Rob Hunt, his first catch of the day, and Indy takes a 7-3 lead in the third. Back to you.
A touchdown. Thank you, Cam. As Synergy looking middle. Percoco is double-teamed this time, and the ball will flutter to the turf.
And you have to think from a DC perspective, as much as you want to stay with the plan, if you are 7 yards away from the 4K23 receiving record at the moment, you are trying your most to get Lauren Percoco that one catch and have her celebrated as the top receiver, as a tight end. All the top 5 have all been wide receivers. Getting a tight end in that area is amazing.
Synergy under pressure, and he will roll and run and is wrapped up from behind by Aaron Stein, and it's 4th and 5, down by 1, under 8 to go in the fourth quarter.
Man, big ups to Aaron Stein coming in because he is 6'6", 295, carrying extra weight, and still pursuing Shabazz Synergy for preventing the first down.
On Van Cleef, needs a great punt. It's a good angle to the outside. No fair catch call as Fullerton brings it out a little bit to the 18-yard line. And that is where Seattle will take over. And for the Nemesis, they really haven't possessed the ball longer than about roughly a minute and a half per drive here, Brett. They're going to have to do a good job this time of just maintaining possession.
Yeah, it's just a couple first downs that they need to grab. Their last 2 drives have only been 1 first down.
Attack pumps once, rolls and runs, and slides down for a gain of 5, just narrowly escaping the hit from Saeed Gore.
Yeah, and right now it's been tough going for Seattle, but you also have to think from DC's end. They've had these long drives, but they've ended in punts so far. As you can see here, 3rd drive of 30-plus yards that ends in a punt. That's not what you want. You want points out of those long drives.
Tack to throw, outside blitz coming. Quick hitter right side is caught by Dean Jackson, the fullback, for no gain.
And it's just immediately wrapped up after the catch as well. No chance to gain any yardage once he got to the line, and it's forcing another third down for Seattle that they need to convert.
They are 1 of 4 on third down in this second half. 5 of 10 in the ball game. Blue Scott out of the backfield now. She lines up as a wide receiver on the right side. Attack to throw, rolling, trying to escape the pressure and cannot. Sean Parent brings down the speedy quarterback. It's another fourth down.
And simply put, it has not been the first quarter for Seattle. After going 3 of 4 on third down conversions, they have since gone 2 of 7 on third down conversions. It has just been a flip of the script after the first quarter for Seattle's offense.
Make that Mike Wagner, as I need to be run over by some wagons at this point. As here comes the punt from Royce. It's a good little punt. Great hang time and a fair catch called for on the 36-yard line by Mason Kirby. Tomorrow night, Cameron Irvine and Mike O'Neill and the rest of the Monday Night Spectacular crew are back first with SFL This Week, taking you around the league in 60 minutes at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. And at 8:15, the 4-3 Arizona Scorpions visit the 3-4 Alamo City Artillery in a critical battle of playoff hopefuls. To get a sneak peek at next week's schedule and for everything else SFL, visit simulationfl.net. Quick hitter, that's Percoco! She's got the record in the single game, but unfortunately it's tempered as Aaron Gooden is down for Seattle.
Nah, that's big. That's a big loss for Seattle, and they need to get Gooden back as quickly as possible. Him and Sabo Kanan are the sources of the outside rushes for Seattle's defense, so they need to have someone step up. I wouldn't be too surprised if Doug Day comes in, and that's where you see him on the inside linebacker spot. Key in on him on this defensive play.
Unfortunately, we hope that Aaron Gooden comes back soon, but for Lauren Percoco, she dethrones Aaron Gooden, the highest paid wide receiver in the league, and gains the record, the single game record in the SFL 2K era, all by herself.
Yeah, and it's one thing that a wide receiver gets it, but it's another thing when it's a tight end that, especially in with certain teams, don't get a lot of love. But these two teams do it well, and Lauren Percoco has been on a whole nother level this game.
Third and short, they trust Kevin Say with it, and he will get it!
Wow.
A favorable spot for Kevin Say in unfriendly confines.
Simply put, if I'm the raccoon eyes of Ty Patak, yeah, I'd be doing that too.
There we go. Yeah. Ty Patak, quarterback and head coach of Seattle, throws the challenge flag. And for the first time tonight, we will take a retroactive look at the play presented by Retroid. Get your SFL console at GoRetroid.com. This one's going to be tight.
Yeah, and it's all about placement of the football, of how forward that progression is. We won't see it in this angle. It was great pursuit from Remington James on that tackle. But you see where that football's been placed. I think this will be short, and it'll be 4th and inches.
Here's the official call and the word from the ref. Indeed, it is overturned. It'll be about a half a yard short of the line to gain. Seattle get that one right.
Yeah, and I'll take a quick check on my end here. It's Bryant James, not Remington James. We have too many James names in this league. You get all mixed up at the end of the day. But nonetheless, great tackling, great pursuit from Bryant James to prevent the first down.
So DC send out the punting unit with just over 5 to go. It's Ron Van Cleef. Set back at his own 30-yard line to punt it away. Gets it away. Here comes the return from Fullerton near his 15-yard line. He gets 4 on the return. He's taken down at the 19-yard line as we're quickly approaching do-or-die territory for this DC defense. They've had great stops on back-to-back-to-back drives against this Seattle offense, but they're going to have to do it again.
Yeah, and it's been a struggle since Seattle's last scoring drive, which was all the way in the first quarter. It's been punt, end of half, punt, 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 punt.
And runs that have gone for 1 yard. Saeed Gore with the stop. 6 down linemen could have tried to go over the top, but DC has just done a phenomenal job. Both defenses have at stopping the run tonight.
Yeah, Seattle has not had a drive more than 6 plays in this second half, and it's all credit to DC's defense. Great adjustments that they made in the second half.
Dean Jackson goes to the tight end spot on the right side of the line. Patak will look to throw, looking near side, caught. Gus Scott, first down to the 33.
Yeah, it's been 2 guys in this second half that have really gotten the pass targets completed to them. It's been Pauly Truth and Gus Scott. Scott has only 3rd reception in this game, but that is a key one. It keeps moving the chains for Seattle. That should be their goal moving forward.
We have seen 6 combined drives that have ended in punts. We need some scoring here, especially for DC. Bobbled and caught by Baloo Scott. Great awareness and concentration to haul it in. However, she does lose a yard on the hit by Saeed Gore.
Yeah, and that gives us advantage DC coming to 2nd and 11, almost forcing Seattle's hand into a passing situation, because a pass-happy team like Seattle, once they get past 10 yards to the goal, or their goal, they're going to go pass.
Attack rolls, looking middle, it hits the hands of Ryan Orlovsky. Incomplete.
Yeah, in and out of his hands, a big hit from John DeSantis. Again, he's done that for about the 3rd or 4th time. The Seattle receivers having a tough time securing the ball after a hit. It's just great work from this DC secondary, specifically these safeties.
3rd and long. This to keep the drive alive and keep time on their side. Patak gonna throw, looking middle, overshoots everybody. Looking for Fullerton, and Seattle will punt it away for the 4th time in a row.
Yeah, not only overthrows Fullerton, but also overthrows John DeSantis and Peanut Say, who can't get the football as well for an interception. And this is going to be 4th down territory, giving the ball back to DC. This is going to be punt number 7 in a row.
This game has been intense. It's been nail-biting. It's been everything. Tense, intense, up tense. Kirby running forward to the 32. We've seen drive after drive after drive go nowhere. These defenses have been the story of the second half.
Yeah, and it's been tough going for these offenses. Let's just quickly go to their second half yardage stats. DC with 121. It is marked by that 78-yard 3rd quarter, but Seattle with a little bit of a struggle does 61 second half yards.
Who puts it together first? Does Seattle, only down by a point, another field goal by one of the league's best field goal kickers, get it done? Pass, middle, caught Mason Kirby at the 45, 1st down.
Man, big 1st down for Kirby as well. He's had a little bit of an up and down game, getting targets. He had that fumble recovery that got DC a great field position in that 1st half, but he's been held to relatively quiet grounds, just his 2nd catch of the game.
303 yards for Shabazz Synergy. Converting on just over 63% of his passes tonight, 14-12 officially. But it's the run game being shut down by Doug Day and the Seattle secondary that has really hindered DC's progress here in the second half.
Yeah, and right now the focus has to be on who's going to get to their enemy territory first. DC has the advantage. They just need to get about 8 yards to get to enemy territory.
For Coco and Walters, the 2 tight ends near side, and they will pitch it near side. Say cannot escape the tackle by Frosty and Valentine, and it's 3rd and 6 to go.
Yeah, and it's going to be an interesting approach on this 3rd down for DC. They've also had a little bit of struggles. They're one of their last 5 on 3rd down conversions. That's been their second half story. Can they convert this one?
Empty backfield, 5 wide receivers for Synergy. 4-man rush, pass, middle, tipped, bobbled, hits the helmet of Nutnik twice. Incomplete, 2:19 to go. You gotta go for it.
Yeah, if I'm thinking going for it, it has to be, but it looks like Rob Van Cleef is out there. They are going to trust in their defense to get one more stop.
They're going to elect to try and trust the defense, which, to their credit, has worked a bunch today as Seattle send all 10 men on a blitz. Fair catch called for by Fullerton at the 15-yard line. This defense for DC will be tested once more.
Yeah, it's one more test, and they have proven to succeed on this test, especially in this fourth quarter. Seattle only 18 yards of offense in the fourth quarter. Can DC do it one more time, or can Seattle run out this clock and get a narrow victory?
And DC will get a free timeout with the 2-minute warning if they're able to stop him here on the first 3 downs. Only a 1-point ball game. Seattle have the lead. Patak gonna roll near side and throw across his body, looking for Polytruth to the 34-yard line. That's a statement when you need it.
Man, a big statement as well. Quick first down, gets themselves in good territory around the 30-yard line. That's exactly what this doctor ordered for the Seattle Nemesis, and it breathes a little bit of relief for them.
We have hit the 2-minute warning. If you're not on the edge of your seat, I don't know what kind of person you are, because this game has had all of it. 21-20. Seattle, can they hold on? Tyler Falk, Brett Solberg here in the booth with 2 to go in the final quarter of regulation. Seattle 21, DC 20. Seattle just needs to milk clock, but they're going to try and throw. Quick hitter underneath is caught by Dean Jackson, the fullback, who is met up at the line of scrimmage. No gain, timeout called by DC.
Good work from DC to get all their ducks in a row, especially on a surprise swing pass, looking to shed the clock that way. I wouldn't be too surprised if Seattle just goes right up the gut on the second down play.
I formation now here for Ty Patak, and for Seattle and for DC. The run game has it working, so I'm not surprised by them trying to throw it. Patak with time. Deep shot. Picked off and going the other way. A crucial interception by Josh Vasquez. He had a couple of near interceptions tonight and finally gets to Patak here.
Man, and look at the return that he got as well inside the 40-yard line for DC as well. What a key interception made by Josh Vasquez when DC needed it the most. Gets them in prime field position. DC only needs to get 1 first down to give Pate a potential game-winning field goal with a $1:48 left to go. Don't be too surprised if Seattle use their timeouts.
Patak was looking for truth, his most reliable target all night long, and Vasquez burns him. His first interception of the night thrown by Patak, and now Chuck Steller gets the call on the fullback dive going nowhere. The crucial thing here is, partner, we are in the Nemisphere. It's a dome stadium. We could see an extra long field goal on the cards.
That's true, because we're looking at, 53, 54 from this point for Pate. They need to get closer. They need to give him a chance. Again, 10 yards will probably do it for him. His
longest field goal made in this era is from 49. It would be a true long. Synergy can't take a sack now. Deep shot. Touchdown, Lyric Da Vinci! And DC take the lead again!
Forget about field goals. How about trusting in the arm of Shabazz Synergy that has been lights out in this game, finding a target that we haven't talked about a lot in this second half in the form of Lyric Da Vinci on a deep ball. Gets in front of TJ Frosty, which has been the story of this defense for Seattle. They get beat up front, and now it's cost them badly in this one, and now you have to think DC going for 2.
DC looking to try and put the third straight loss up on the board for Seattle. A 2-point conversion would make it a touchdown. Fullback dive from Steller. He will get it. It is a 7-point lead for the DC Dragons in the dying embers of this one.
But we have to dial this back a little bit here. There is still 1 minute and 18 seconds left. Did DC give Ty Patak too much time to go down the field? We know how he can be clutch in moments like this. There is still time left. Seattle has a chance to tie this one or potentially get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to win this.
Da Vinci was 0 of 4 on targets to receptions before the touchdown grab. And now here comes Blackwell. On the return, he will keep hold of the football at the 25. And now Seattle with 1:12 on the clock. All 3 timeouts have a chance, and here comes Patak.
And here's what fears me about Seattle's game plan throughout this game, though. They haven't had many too deep balls going down the field for Patak. They've been maybe at most 15 yards. They need to pull a rabbit out of their hat, get something deep for one of their receivers. I'm focusing in on John Fullerton. He hasn't had a lot of love here, just 1 reception on 3 targets.
The Seattle offense has not scored since the 3-minute mark in the first quarter. They have to get a touchdown here. Patak to throw. Got Pauly Truth just beyond the 40-yard line, and there is their first timeout.
Yeah, a quick hit play as well to Pauly Truth. Only shed about 4 or 5 seconds of game clock. That is big.
$107 yards for Pauly Truth tonight. Of course, he'll be overshadowed as far as the tight ends go by Lauren Prococo with a single-game receiving record in the 4K23 era. That will be the story. Patak in double coverage, can't haul it in. Second down.
He was hoping for Fullerton to get past those defenders and get a little bit more outside, but just targeted a little bit too wide. But now is not to get those nerves. Just breathe, focus on your next pass.
Three wide here for Ty Patak. Alou Scott, the lone back in the backfield. 5-step drop, quick hitter right side. It's tipped and falls incomplete. Third down. Vasquez with the deflection.
Man, these DC secondary, especially these safeties, great work on just staying where you need to be in moments like this. 2 more plays, you have to think from DC's side, and they get the win. But for Seattle, they need to move this ball even more forward. And they've got, look, all these receivers that are standing up.
1 minute, 1 second to go. 3rd and 10 from the 40-yard line. Patak, 5-step drop, hit, middle, no! Orlovsky couldn't haul it in. Another bone-crunching hit. That brings up 4th down.
Man, and this is ball game for Seattle. They need to get this first down. It doesn't even matter about getting to the end zone. You still have 1 minute to go. You got 2 timeouts. The big key here is, whoa!
Seattle? Are they trying something fancy? They've got 2 timeouts. They're going to hack it to Dugte, who's going to run. He's got space, looking for the first down. He can't get it. A crucial tackle from Barrett Green denies the Seattle march down the field.
And the issue with that is Dugte, it was a good idea to give it to him, but he was being a little bit too fancy going outside. He just should have went on the inside between the line that was given on that punt unit and that first defender on the special teams. But instead, he tries to cut even more outside, and he loses yards because of that and gives DC the game.
With only 2 timeouts for Seattle, it will not be enough. There's the first kneel down. Synergy takes it down. Seattle called their second timeout. It might be close, partner. If my math is correct, they might be able to get 1 more offensive play.
And they're going to have to hope and pray that they get something that is absolute money at this point, because they're going to get, what, maybe 10 seconds or less after this?
Maybe at most, maybe 5. We'll see. There is another kneel down from Synergy. Roughly 48 seconds to go on the game clock. Like that 46 seconds, excuse me. 1 more kneel down. It'll take it down to 6. They're going to need the best return of the evening from John Fullerton. We're going to go quickly So back to SFL headquarters from a game break from Oklahoma and come back for the conclusion of this one.
How about this one, wild one, Tyler? 14-6, Indy's up with 6 minutes to go. Colin Pierce hits Ryan Roosevelt, who fumbles, recovered by Tulsa. They get the defensive stop. They're down 8 with 5.5 to go. Back to you for your finish.
Thank you, Cam. This one is going to come down to the return. Fullerton back inside his own 10-yard line. A fair catch or letting the ball drop ends this game. 8 seconds to go. It's a high and spiraling punt. 3 seconds to go. Taken down with 1 second to go. Inside his own 20-yard line, it's Hail Mary time.
Yeah, and I'm thinking one target who has been, the benefactor of this offense. You've got to look at Paulie Truth. He might not have the speed, but he can have the strength to beat defenders, and he's on the inside of that line. He's kind of flexing out as a tight end.
Who gets their 5th win of the season? It's down to Batak's arm, who launches it deep over the middle, too far, and the Dragons come away with the win on the road to finish off their 4-game road trip with back-to-back wins and a spectacular game here tonight in Seattle. 28-21, Dragons win.
And just like that, with a twist of fate, San Diego are now the current Pacific Division leaders at 4-3 after Seattle brings themselves to 500 on this one. And at the end of the day, it was just DC's defense that smothered them in that second half. Just 99 total yards of offense from Seattle in the second half, and a key interception that sent right to Josh Vasquez's way that turned the tide. It was 21-20 for the longest time, and DC found a way to get the interception, and then a huge throw to Lyric Da Vinci after getting stymied the whole game, gets his lone catch of the game, seals the deal for DC. Huge win for them as well to push them to 5-2.
Hats off to Lauren Percoco. We've talked about it a couple of times now, but she breaks away from Gabriel Manning and now is the single game receiving record in the SFL 2K4 era with 237 yards receiving. For Declan O'Rourke and Devon Simeon and stats for Cameron back at SFL headquarters, my partner Brett Solberg. We got more games tonight. Hope you stick around. Until then, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Nail biter in Tulsa.